currently drinking coffee, and we'll probably continue drinking coffee. All right, everyone, I had a little bit of breaking news for you. It's not really breaking. You probably saw it yesterday, but it was actually not known by many. I've talked to a few people, and they're like, wait, what? When did this happen? So let me break it down for you. I woke up yesterday morning, I was getting ready for class, and I saw breaking news that there was an attempted robbery of the Tactical Boutique in West Hartford. When I got to work, nobody knew about it. Unfortunately, I don't know the owner, nor did anyone that I was talking to. But according to the last article I was able to find, it says West Hartford. This is from WFSB. Police are investigating following a breaking and entering incident at a West Hartford gun store on Saturday morning. Around 3:17 a.m., police responded to a Tactical Boutique for a burglary after the owner detected a person on the store camera. Police said one suspect fled in a stolen car. The car was later found unoccupied in Hartford. Officials said no guns or ammunition were stolen and no arrests have been made. The incident remains under investigation. So that's the updated article. The original article tended to, it upset a few. We discussed this in class, and some of the people were a little flabbergasted at the way things work. So I have the original breaking news. It says gun store break-in, Tactical Boutique, which is on 9 Tall Street. Four individuals fled the scene in a silver Honda, and you get a license plate, a stolen vehicle, last seen by officers north on New Park Ave, heading into Hartford. Stop sticks were successfully deployed by arriving officers. Pursuit was not allowed. Drones were deployed by WHPD to help clear the area. State police sent K9 units. Incident was caught live on all surveillance cameras by the owner, who alerted the police. Firearms themselves were not believed to have been accessed. If you've ever been there, again, I never have, but I did look at photos online, and the whole thing looks like it's pretty well locked up with big steel doors and all that good stuff. So pretty hard to break into, versus some FFLs have glass and windows, things like that. Granted, they're all shatterproof, but big steel doors and everything, it looked like a mini prison. All right, suspect vehicle was located about 45 minutes later by HPD, Hartford Police Department. It was abandoned on the road, New Park Ave and Francis Court, by a Stop and Shop, and that was around 4:13 a.m. So what was making people get their panties in a twist? Well, the simple fact that the police can't pursue. And a lot of people don't understand that. Yes, in Connecticut, we are a no pursuit state. You'll remember a couple of months ago when the FFL in Southington was broken into, police arrived on the scene when the crooks, the little hood rats, were actually leaving the parking lot. They were unable to pursue because it's technically a non-violent felony. And this is what I guess people have voted for. Right? It is the law of the land in Connecticut that if it's a non-violent felony, the police aren't going to pursue you. So criminals know they can pretty much get away with impunity because cops won't or can't give chase. There you go. The hood rats in the first Southington break-in, they left and the cops just watched them go. They did locate the vehicle later on, and you guys, you know the thing.
Go, you know the thing,
right? So, yeah. Apparently, so these crooks did not get into the Tactical Boutique. They did not get anything. But I guarantee you, it made every FFL owner in the state yesterday pretty much a little nervous. And I guarantee you, not many of them slept last night. It's odd for break-ins like that during the winter, just because it's cold outside and hood rats don't like coming out in the cold. That being said, maybe it's just the beginning of hood rat season. I don't know. The second thing I wanted to cover, and I know real popular were all the upcoming proposed laws for the state of Connecticut since we're in that long legislative session. One of the bills I failed to cover because it didn't fit into my search criteria. I did see it via the CCDL because they are closely following it. And what we're talking about is Proposal HB 6150, which goes hand in hand with current law. So it's a really simple bill. It says this, okay? It is from Rep. Joe Hoeksa of the 78th District. Its title is An Act Concerning the Castle Doctrine. In case you didn't know, Connecticut is a Castle Doctrine state. Statement of purpose: to fully adopt the Castle Doctrine. That's it. That's the whole thing. Just fully accept it. Now, what is it? It's going to basically amend Section 53A-20 of our general statute. So if we go to that, I had to literally print it out. Lots of pages. All right, so let's take a look at 53A-20. It's part of the Penal Code Statutory Construction Principles of Criminal Liability. So it comes on to Section 53A-20, use of physical force in defense of premises. This is Castle Doctrine. A person in possession or control of premises, or a person who is licensed or privileged to be in or upon such premises, is justified in using reasonable physical force upon another person when and to the extent that he reasonably believes such to be necessary to prevent or terminate the commission or attempt commission of a criminal trespass, such by other person in or such premises. But he may use deadly force under such circumstances only: 1. In defense of a person or prescribed in Section 53A-19, or 2. When he reasonably believes such to be necessary to prevent an attempt by the trespasser to commit arson or any crime of violence, or 3. The extent that he reasonably believes such to be necessary to prevent or terminate an unlawful entry by force into his dwelling as defined by Section 53A-100, or place of work, and for the sole purpose of such prevention or termination. Now let's give a little history on it. 1971 Act, Castle Doctrine is quite old in our state, specified that reasonable physical force allows the use of deadly physical force when necessary to prevent crime of violence and the deleted language allowing the use of deadly physical force not earlier in time. I have no idea. This is just all the follow-on information. Then necessary to prevent or terminate unlawful entry into the dwelling or workplace by force. Made technical changes by replacing believes it is necessary and believes it necessary with believes such to be necessary. It goes on to cite this. A defendant is entitled to a theory of defense instruction as a matter of law when the evidence under section before a jury, and it lists a whole bunch of stuff. The defendant due process right to a fair trial was violated when a trial court failed to explicitly instruct the jury that the state bore the burden of disproving the defendant's defense of a premise theory. The term crime of violence includes only those offenses that fall within the traditional common law definition of the term, such as arson, burglary, and does not necessarily involve the use of deadly force or infliction of great bodily harm. So that is just alluding to a court case, and that's why they amended it, so on and so forth. All right, it's just all in this text, and it talks about common law, so on and so forth. So, yes, Connecticut has castle doctrine. I've done an entire video on it, but, you know, it's one of those things to where you're going to get arrested. You're going to go to jail if somebody breaks into your home and then you boop them. We all know that going in. We live in Connecticut. Like I always tell people, you are in Connecticut. You are not in Texas. Ergo, be careful. Make sure, whatever you do is justified, because the way that Connecticut looks at it is it's a tit for tat. I mean, that's what they're going to argue. It comes down to this. If you shut your door, you lock your door, and somebody forcibly comes through, they are breaking and entering. Well, you know what? I'm going to fear for my life. And those are the key words to remember. I feared for my life. That's it. And the burden to prove that you did not fear for your life is on the state. It is not on you. Remember, you are not proving your innocence. It is supposed to be you are innocent and the state must prove that you are guilty. But for some reason, Connecticut always flips it, and it feels like the lawful gun owner is just guilty till proven innocent. Now, granted, they are going to seize your firearm. It should be only the firearm, not all your firearms and not all your ammunition. They may or may not revoke your permit. When it comes to seizing your firearm, depending on the type of gun that you're using, you're going to be out a lot of money. So if you decided you were going to pick up your Connecticut Other, all right, technically, they are only supposed to take the lower. Your upper, your optic, anything else that you have on there, like a D-ball, a PEC 15, PEC 2, whatever you're running, all that is not supposed to be seized. It should only be your lower. But, just like I know, they're taking the whole thing and they're not going to allow you to disassemble it. That's just how it goes. And I'm sure they're going to use shenanigans to pretty much try and seize everything. Wouldn't put it past them. I mean, it is Connecticut after all. And of course, you're going to be raked through the coals. You're going to be, dragged through the mud in the media. And they're going to hold you up as a poster child of why we need more laws, more gun control, things like that. But it's nice to see that at least somebody's putting forth, like, hey, if we're going to have castle doctrine, how about we not have castle doctrine light? Let's just go all in, straight up castle doctrine. So there is no duty to retreat from one's home or business, but there is a duty to retreat from everywhere else. Okay, that's understandable. We are not a stand your ground state. Now, with that duty to retreat, it doesn't mean that you always have to run away. If you are obviously backed into a corner, or you're in an area to where there is no escape, and your only option is to fight back, then you must fight back. you got to do what you got to do, right? I'm going to do my best to keep myself and my family safe. I may go down on my feet, but at least I tried. I am not going to run away. I'm not going to abandon them. It's that simple. I really would suggest that all of you dig into our general statute. I will try and put a link down below and kind of brush up on 53A, 19, 20, 21, because it covers things like, well, let's go into this. 53A, 18, use of reasonable physical force and deadly physical force generally. 19 is use of physical force in defense of a person, so third parties. I read to you 20, which is defending your premises. And 21 is physical use in defense of property. And it's generally taught and understood by most that when it comes to 53A18, physical force or deadly force, how it works, right? It is a tit for tat. If somebody throws a punch, you can't just shoot them. You're not fearing for your life. You have to generally believe that you fear for your life, that you're going to die or great bodily harm. That's it, right? So if you're like 100 pounds and some 250-pound dude, whaps you in the head, okay, there you could fear for your life. I get it. I mean, you're still going to jail. You're still going to get arrested. You're still going to need lawyers, etc. And I really do hope you have some sort of insurance that will help cover bail, a lawyer, and your trial, etc. In defense of other people, I've talked about this in length. When it comes to defending other people, I don't know you and I don't owe you. That's it. I don't want to talk about morals. Morally, I think we should protect our fellow man. But what I'm saying is, you go outside and you look around and just pick any random stranger. Are you willing to go to jail for the rest of your life for that stranger? The most answer I get is, no, I am not going to jail for some random person on a street that I don't know. Well, there you go. So defense of a third party, most people aren't going to do it. Unless you want to go down the road of Daniel Penny. There you go. However, defense of third parties, without a second thought, my spouse and my children. That's it. Would I go to jail for the rest of my life for defending my spouse or my children? In a heartbeat. But random stranger? No. Can't say that I would. We talked about the premises. And then when it comes to 21, use of physical force in defending property. Property or real property, because there is a distinction between them. Generally, the answer is no. You can't protect your shit. All right? It's that simple. Somebody breaks in your house because they want to steal your Ninja blender. You don't get to boop them. Now, they break in and you fear for your life. That's a different story. If somebody's trying to steal your car, well, I mean, it's a tit for tat, guys. I mean, you don't just like, oh, they, grabbed me and started to pull me out. You're going to get hemmed up. You just are. You can't defend property. Rule of thumb. You can't do it. So, don't even try. It's going to get you hemmed up. Obviously, you can defend property to prevent arson. But when it comes to property, you can't. And it comes down to this. Carjacking, I think, is kind of bad. You wake up in the morning, you open your curtains, you got your lovely cup of coffee, and you see some random hood rat rummaging through your car. There's not much you can do. You can holler and scream, call 911. Cops may or may not show up. And really, if they are coming, how long is it going to take them? And that's about all you can do. You can't leave your home. If you go outside to confront them, so you grab your gun, you walk outside to confront them, you have a gun, they pull a gun, back and forth, you prevail. Well, unfortunately, under the letter of the law, technically, you're the aggressor. And it will not bode well for you. That being said, you choose not to take some sort of firearm with you. and you just walk outside and you're not armed and they are, well, then you're just gonna, get riddled with holes and potentially unsubscribe to life, which is bad. So both scenarios are pretty bad. Don't want to go to jail over a bunch of stuff that's in my vehicle that is covered by insurance, let alone my car, things like that. So, be mindful of that. Personally, my property is my property. It's my stuff. I know there's the meme of the liberals arguing, you think your stuff's more important than somebody's life? I always say, no, these people think that my stuff's more important than their life. It's mine. All mine. I'm not sharing. It's not ours. It's mine. I worked for it. I earned money. I used my money to buy said thing. That thing is mine. It does not belong to the state. It does not belong to you. It is mine. That simple. Don't touch my stuff. And I won't touch your stuff. And then everybody's happy. But you got those criminal elements out there that really just don't care, and they're going to touch your stuff. According to Lamont, crime's down. And you know damn well that's a bunch of BS. So that's it. I'm going to try and do chapters so you guys can see the break-in, and of course then this proposal when it comes to Castle Doctrine. It may or may not work, but I do appreciate you hanging out. If you've made it this far, of course, down in the description below is going to be the link for the merch store. I'm not wearing any merch today because, well, this is kind of a last-minute thrown together video. We've got Patreon, locals. You become a member here on YouTube. At the very least, guys, just like, comment, share the video, subscribe. If you're not a subscriber, toggle that notification bell so anytime I put up a new video or go live, you will get notified. And that's all I have for you in this video. I will talk to all of you later. Have a good one.